You are not broken. You are poorly constructed. And there is a difference. Broken things need therapy. Poorly constructed things need demolition. Machiavelli did not write about healing. He wrote about rebuilding. About tearing down the structures that make you weak and erecting new ones that make you formidable. This is not a journey of self-discovery. This is strategic reconstruction. And if you have been trying to fix yourself with affirmations and positive thinking, you have been using the wrong tools. You do not renovate a crumbling fortress with paint. You rebuild it with stone and steel and ruthless precision. Most people spend their entire lives trying to improve a foundation that was never designed to hold power. They add skills to a weak identity. They chase goals with a victim's mentality. They want different results, but they refuse to become a different person. Machiavelli would call this insanity. You cannot build an empire on the architecture of your trauma. You cannot lead others when you are still obeying the voices of people who are not even in the room anymore. Subscribe now, because what comes next is not about becoming a better version of yourself. It is about becoming a different entity entirely. One that is built for conquest, not comfort. Let me tell you about a moment Machiavelli witnessed that changed how he saw human transformation. A mercenary captain had lost 3 consecutive battles. His men were deserting. His reputation was collapsing. Everyone expected him to fade into obscurity or beg for a lesser position. Instead, he disappeared for 6 months. No one knew where he went. When he returned, he was unrecognizable. Not physically, structurally. He had studied every mistake. He had stripped away every assumption about warfare he had inherited. He had rebuilt his strategy from the ground up. Within 2 years, he had won back everything he lost and more. He did not heal from his losses. He used them as demolition evidence. Proof that his old way of operating was architecturally unsound. This is the Machiavellian way. You do not recover. You reconstruct. And reconstruction begins with something most people are too sentimental to do. Brutal assessment. You must look at yourself the way an enemy would. Not with hatred. With cold analysis. Where are you weak? Where are you predictable? Where are you still operating from fear disguised as principle? Where are you performing strength instead of possessing it? These questions are uncomfortable because they require you to admit that much of what you call your personality is just unexamined programming. You are not being yourself. You are being the echo of your environment. Machiavelli observed that men are more ready to repay an injury than a benefit, because gratitude is a burden and revenge a pleasure. What he understood was that humans are not neutral. They are not blank slates waiting for truth. They are creatures of incentive and emotion and social conditioning. And if you were raised in dysfunction, scarcity, or chaos, then your operating system is coded for survival, not dominance. You were built to avoid pain, not to pursue power. And that system will sabotage every ambition you have until you rip it out and install a new one. Comment below if you have ever self-sabotaged right when things were going well. If you have ever felt afraid of success. If you have ever pulled back right before the breakthrough. That is not coincidence. That is your old architecture protecting itself. Because your subconscious does not want transformation. It wants consistency. Even if that consistency is suffering. Suffering is familiar. And the brain treats familiarity as safety. So it will burn down your progress to return you to the baseline it knows. This is why willpower fails. You are fighting your own infrastructure. The first phase of Machiavellian reconstruction is demolition. And demolition is not destruction. It is intentional removal of what no longer serves the new design. You must identify every belief, every habit, every relationship, every commitment that was built during a weaker version of your life. Not all of them are bad, but all of them must be evaluated. Does this make me stronger or does it make me comfortable? Does this expand my capacity or does it protect my ego? Does this relationship sharpen me or does it soothe me? If you cannot answer immediately, the answer is probably the latter. Here is the trap most people fall into. They try to add new habits on top of old ones. They try to become disciplined while still surrounding themselves with distraction. They try to build wealth while still holding poverty beliefs. They try to command respect while still apologizing for taking up space. This is not reconstruction. This is cosmetic. You are putting marble floors in a house with a rotting foundation. It looks good for a moment. Then it collapses. Machiavelli rebuilt states the same way you must rebuild yourself. First, he removed the disloyal. Not because they were evil, because they were liabilities. In your life, disloyalty does not always look like betrayal. Sometimes it looks like friends who mock your ambition, family who guilt you for changing, partners who need you to stay small so they feel safe. These people are not enemies, but they are not allies either. They are obstacles. And the Machiavellian does not negotiate with obstacles. He removes them or he routes around them. Let me be very clear. I am not telling you to abandon everyone. I am telling you to become someone worth abandoning comfort for. Because right now, if you are surrounded by people who do not challenge you, it is because you have not challenged yourself. You have made it easy to stay in your life. You have made your presence cheap. You have not created a standard that filters out the weak. And so the weak have gathered around you, and they have called it loyalty. But it is not loyalty. It is mutual stagnation. You keep them comfortable. They keep you mediocre. Everyone stays safe. No one grows. Subscribe if this is cutting deeper than you expected. Because the Machiavellian way is not cruel. It is precise. And precision feels like cruelty to people who are used to being handled gently. The second phase of reconstruction is foundation work. This is where you install the new operating system. And the foundation of all Machiavellian power is this. You must become someone who does not need external validation to know you are on the right path. Most people are consensus-driven. They make decisions by polling their environment. They check to see if others approve before they move. This makes them predictable, controllable, weak. Machiavelli wrote that a prince ought to have two fears, one from within, on account of his subjects, the other from without, on account of external powers. But the prince who has a strong foundation does not fear his subjects because he does not need their approval. He has his own compass. Your compass is built from three elements: personal law, strategic clarity, and outcome orientation. Personal law is the code you live by regardless of who is watching. Not morality borrowed from religion or culture. Not rules you follow to be liked. But principles you have chosen because they make you effective. For example, one of my personal laws is this. I do not explain myself to people who have not earned context. This is not arrogance. This is efficiency. Explanation is expensive. It costs time and energy. And most people asking for explanation are not seeking understanding. They are seeking ammunition or reassurance. Neither of which I am obligated to provide. Strategic clarity is the ability to see your life as a campaign, not a series of random events. Every action is a move. Every relationship is an alliance or a distraction. Every dollar is a resource allocation. Every word is a signal. When you have strategic clarity, you stop doing things just because they feel good or because someone else is doing them. You ask a different question. Does this move me closer to the position I am trying to occupy, or does it diffuse my energy? If it diffuses, you cut it. No guilt. No explanation. Just execution. Outcome orientation is the refusal to be attached to process for its own sake. Most people glorify suffering. They think struggle equals virtue. They wear exhaustion like a badge. But Machiavelli would tell you that the only thing that matters is whether you won. No one remembers how hard you worked. They remember whether you delivered. This does not mean you avoid hard work. It means you do not confuse hard work with smart work. It means you measure yourself by results, not effort. Because effort without results is just motion. And motion without direction is just noise. Now let me give you the framework for installing this foundation. Every day, you wake up and you ask 3 questions. What is the objective today? What is the obstacle? What is the move? Not what do I feel like doing? Not what would make today easy? But what is the strategic action that advances my position? Then you do that thing first. Before email. Before distraction. Before the world gets a vote. You execute your move. And you do it in silence. You do not post about it. You do not seek feedback. You just do it. And over time, this becomes your identity. You become someone who moves with intention while everyone else is still deciding how they feel. Comment below what your objective is right now. Not your dream. Not your wish. Your objective. The specific outcome you are working toward. If you cannot name it in one sentence, you do not have an objective. You have a vague desire. And vague desires do not build empires. They build regret. The third phase of Machiavellian reconstruction is weaponization. This is where you take your natural traits and turn them into strategic advantages. Most people see their personality as fixed. They say things like, I am just not a people person, or I am not good with money, or I am too emotional. This is victim language. Machiavelli would tell you that traits are neutral. It is how you deploy them that matters. You are not too emotional. You have not yet learned to weaponize your emotion. You are not bad with money. You have not yet treated money like a battlefield. You are not bad with people. You have not yet learned to read incentive and leverage. Let me show you what I mean. Anger is considered a weakness. But anger, when controlled, is rocket fuel. It cuts through hesitation. It makes you willing to do what others will not. The key is you do not act from anger. You act with anger as your engine. You channel it into relentless execution. Fear is considered a weakness. But fear is just pattern recognition. It tells you where the risk is. The Machiavellian does not ignore fear. He listens to it, then he acts anyway because he has calculated that the cost of an action is higher. Pride is considered a weakness. But pride, when directed, becomes unshakable standards. It makes you refuse to accept mediocrity. It makes you walk away from situations that dishonor you. Every trait you have been taught to suppress is a weapon you have not been trained to use. The work is not to eliminate yourself. It is to refine yourself. To take the raw material of who you are and forge it into something that cannot be ignored. Machiavelli did not write about becoming someone else. He wrote about becoming the most dangerous version of yourself. And danger is not aggression. Danger is competence combined with unpredictability. It is the calm knowledge that you can handle whatever comes and the willingness to do what others find uncomfortable. Here is the exercise. List 3 traits you have been told are weaknesses. Maybe you are stubborn. Maybe you are paranoid. Maybe you are cold. Now reframe them. Stubborn becomes relentless. Paranoid becomes vigilant. Cold becomes discerning. You have not changed the trait. You have changed the deployment. And deployment is everything. A knife in the hands of a child is a danger to the child. A knife in the hands of a surgeon is a tool of precision. Same object. Different wielder. The fourth phase is isolation. And this is where most people quit. Because isolation does not mean loneliness. It means solitude with purpose. Machiavelli spent years in exile, stripped of position, removed from the court. And during that isolation, he wrote the most influential political text in history. He did not waste his isolation on bitterness. He used it to think deeper than his enemies ever could. He turned his exile into a laboratory. And when the world finally turned back to him, he had something no one else had. Clarity born from undistracted thought. You need isolation. Not forever, but for a season. You need to remove yourself from the constant input. From the opinions. From the social performance. From the need to be seen. Because right now, you are not thinking your own thoughts. You are thinking the thoughts of your feed. Your family. Your peers. You are a composite of influences, not an original force. And composites are weak. They fracture under pressure. Originals endure because they are integrated, whole, built from the inside out. Here is what isolation gives you. First, it reveals who you are without an audience. Most people do not know themselves because they have never been alone long enough to meet themselves. They are always performing, always adjusting, always mirroring. In isolation, the mask falls, and you see what is real. Second, isolation gives you time to build without interference. No one is questioning you. No one is draining you. No one is imposing their timeline or their doubt. You can experiment. You can fail privately. You can iterate without shame. Third, isolation makes your return powerful. When you step back into the world after a season of deep work, you are not the same. People feel it. They do not know what changed, but they know something has. You carry a different gravity. Machiavelli wrote that the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. If you are surrounded by chaos, you are chaos. If you are surrounded by mediocrity, you are mediocre. If you are surrounded by distraction, you are distracted. Isolation allows you to clear the board, to remove every piece that does not serve the game you are playing. And when you return, you only allow in those who match the new frequency. Subscribe now if you are beginning to understand that this is not about becoming likable. This is about becoming inevitable. The fifth phase is implementation under pressure. Because everything I have said so far is theory until you test it in the real world. And the real world does not care about your intentions. It only responds to your actions. Machiavelli observed that many have imagined republics and principalities that have never been seen or known to exist in reality. For how we live is so far removed from how we ought to live, that he who abandons what is done for what ought to be done, will rather bring about his own ruin than his preservation. Translation: idealism is suicide. You must operate in reality, not in theory. This is where most people collapse. They do the internal work. They get clear. They set the vision. Then they step into the arena and the first punch lands and they fold. They retreat back into comfort. They tell themselves they are not ready. They need another course, another book, another month of preparation. But preparation without execution is just procrastination with a narrative. The Machiavellian does not wait to be ready. He moves, adjusts, and becomes ready through action. Here is the truth about pressure. It does not reveal your character. It reveals your preparation. If you have done the demolition, the foundation work, the weaponization, and the isolation, then pressure is just data. It shows you what still needs work. It shows you which parts of the old architecture are still there. It shows you where you are still performing instead of being. And instead of collapsing, you note it. You adjust. You continue. Because you are not fragile. You are iterative. Let me tell you what happened when I first tested this. I had rebuilt my entire approach to business. I had cut off relationships that were draining me. I had installed new standards. I had spent months in isolation working on a project no one knew about. Then I launched it. And the first response was not applause. It was crickets. Then criticism. Then mockery. My old self would have collapsed. Would have taken it as evidence that I was wrong. But my rebuilt self asked a different question. Is the criticism coming from someone whose position I want? No. Then it is irrelevant. I adjusted the strategy. I did not adjust the vision. And within 6 months, the same people who mocked were asking how I did it. Pressure is the price of ambition. If you are not experiencing pressure, you are not attempting anything significant. You are operating within your comfort zone, which means you are decaying. Growth only happens at the edge of your capacity. And the edge is uncomfortable. It is supposed to be. Discomfort is not a sign you are on the wrong path. It is a sign you are on a path most people are too weak to walk. Comment below the last time you quit something because it got hard. Be honest. Because that moment is the moment your old architecture won. And it will keep winning until you rebuild. The sixth phase is compounding. This is where the Machiavellian strategy separates from every other self-improvement philosophy. Most people think in events. They want the breakthrough, the big win, the viral moment, the sudden transformation. But Machiavelli thought in systems. He understood that power is not a moment. It is the accumulation of small, strategic advantages over time. Every move compounds. Every relationship either adds or subtracts. Every day you either build momentum or you bleed it. Compounding requires patience. Not passive patience. Active patience. The kind where you are working in silence while others are performing in public. You are planting seeds they cannot see. You are building leverage they do not know exists. And when the harvest comes, it looks sudden to them. But you know it was inevitable, because you understand the math of compounding. Small consistent actions in the right direction create exponential results. Small consistent actions in the wrong direction create exponential collapse. Here is the formula. Every day, do one thing that your future self will thank you for. One thing that builds capacity. One thing that expands your position. It does not have to be big. It has to be directionally correct. Save $100. Send one message to someone more advanced than you. Remove one commitment that drains you. Write one page. Lift one weight. Learn one concept. These actions seem insignificant in isolation. But over a year, they are unrecognizable transformation. Over 5 years, they are a different life. The trap is that compounding is invisible in the early stages. You do not see the results. You do not get the applause. You start to doubt. This is where most people quit. They plant the seed and they dig it up every week to see if it is growing. And in doing so, they kill it. The Machiavellian plants the seed and forgets about it. He moves to the next seed. And the next. And the next. And one day he looks up and he is standing in a forest he does not remember planting. But it was always inevitable. Because he trusted the process more than he needed the validation. Machiavelli wrote that he who builds on the people, builds on mud. What he meant was that popular opinion is unstable. It shifts. It is emotional. It is fickle. You cannot build a foundation on applause. You build it on principle. On systems. On cold math. And the cold math of compounding is this. Time amplifies direction. If you are moving in the right direction, time is your greatest ally. If you are moving in the wrong direction, time is your greatest enemy. So the question is not, am I moving fast? The question is, am I moving right? The 7th phase is ruthless editing. This is ongoing. It never stops. Because as you grow, you will accumulate new commitments, new relationships, new habits. And not all of them will serve the next version of you. The person you are becoming has different needs than the person you were. And if you do not edit, you will carry dead weight. You will be strong enough to grow but too burdened to move. Machiavelli practiced this constantly. He allied with people until they were no longer useful. Then he moved on. Not with cruelty. With clarity. He did not owe anyone his stagnation. Ruthless editing means you evaluate everything quarterly. Your relationships. Your projects. Your habits. Your beliefs. You ask, is this still serving me, or is this now a cost? And if it is a cost, you cut it. No sentimentality. No guilt. You do not owe your past self loyalty. You owe your future self optimization. Every quarter you should be a slightly different person. Not unrecognizable. Just refined. Sharper. Clearer. More aligned. Here is what this looks like practically. Every 3 months, I go through my calendar and I remove every recurring commitment that does not directly contribute to my objectives. I go through my phone and I remove contacts I have not spoken to in 6 months. I go through my subscriptions and I cancel anything I am not actively using. I go through my projects and I kill anything that is not gaining momentum. This is not coldness. This is stewardship. I am stewarding my attention, my energy, my resources. And I cannot steward what I am not willing to protect. Most people are hoarders. They hoard relationships that died years ago. They hoard projects they will never finish. They hoard commitments they resent. They hoard beliefs that no longer serve them. And they wonder why they feel heavy. Why they cannot move. Why they are exhausted. It is because they are carrying a museum of their former selves. The Machiavellian travels light. He keeps only what is useful. Everything else is weight. The 8th phase is strategic invisibility. This is the most misunderstood principle. People think power is loud. That influence is visibility. But Machiavelli knew the opposite. The most powerful people are the ones you do not see coming. They move in silence. They build in private. They only reveal themselves when the position is already secured. By the time you see them, it is too late to compete. They have already won. Strategic invisibility means you do not announce your plans. You do not share your strategy. You do not perform your progress. You work quietly while others are talking. You build while they are debating. You execute while they are explaining. And when you finally emerge, you emerge with results, not intentions. You do not ask for permission. You do not seek validation. You simply present the outcome. And the outcome speaks louder than any announcement ever could. Here is why this matters. Every time you announce a plan, you create resistance. People will doubt you. They will discourage you. Not because they are evil, because your growth threatens their stagnation. Your ambition highlights their inaction. So they will, often unconsciously, try to talk you out of it. They will ask questions designed to create doubt. They will remind you of past failures. They will tell you to be realistic. And if you are not careful, you will internalize their fear. You will start to doubt yourself. Not because the plan is bad, but because you exposed it before it was strong enough to defend itself. The Machiavellian does not give people that opportunity. He moves in silence. He builds the thing. And when it is undeniable, he reveals it. By then, the doubters are irrelevant. The results have already answered every question they would have asked. This is not secrecy for its own sake. This is protection. You are protecting your vision from the erosion of other people's limitations. Subscribe if you are realizing that everything you were taught about sharing and collaboration was designed to keep you visible and controllable. The 9th phase is the installation of fear and respect. Not through aggression, through competence and boundary enforcement. Machiavelli wrote that it is much safer to be feared than loved because love is preserved by the link of obligation which, owing to the baseness of men, is broken at every opportunity for their advantage. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment which never fails. In modern terms, this means people will violate your kindness, but they will respect your boundaries. You must become someone who is known for following through. If you say you will do something, you do it. If you say there will be a consequence, you enforce it. No exceptions. No negotiations. Because the moment you make an exception, you have taught people that your word is flexible. And flexible people are not respected. They are tested. Constantly. The Machiavellian is not flexible. He is clear. He states the terms. He enforces the terms. And people learn quickly that he is not someone to test. This does not mean you are harsh. It means you are consistent. Consistency is what builds trust. Not niceness. Not agreeability. Consistency. When people know exactly what to expect from you, they relax. They stop testing. They stop trying to manipulate. They either accept the terms or they leave. And both outcomes are fine. Because you are not trying to be liked by everyone. You are trying to be respected by the right people. Here is the shift. Stop trying to be the nicest person in the room. Start trying to be the most reliable. Stop trying to make everyone comfortable. Start making your standards clear. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Start occupying it with intention. The moment you do this, you will lose people. Good. Those people were liabilities. They were only around because you were easy. Now you are becoming expensive. And expensive things attract a different caliber of person. The 10th and final phase is the shift from builder to architect. This is where you stop working in your life and start designing it. You have rebuilt yourself. You have installed new systems. You have removed the weak. You have compounded your advantages. Now you step back and you ask a different question. What structure do I want to live inside? Not what do I want to do? What do I want to be inevitable? The architect does not chase opportunities. He creates conditions where opportunities come to him. He does not hustle. He positions. He does not react. He anticipates. He has built a life where his values are automated, where his income is decoupled from his time, where his reputation precedes him, where his presence is felt even in his absence. This is the ultimate Machiavellian achievement, to become a system, not just a person. Here is what that looks like. Your business runs without you. Your investments grow without you. Your influence spreads without you. You have built something larger than yourself. Something that does not require your constant intervention. You are no longer the doer. You are the designer. And from that position, you can see what others cannot. You can move with precision. You can deploy resources. You can create empires while others are still trying to build careers. Machiavelli wrote that the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. The architect is both. He sees the traps. He frightens the wolves. And he does it without effort because the structure he has built does the work for him. Let me give you the final framework. The Machiavellian rebuild is not a one-time event. It is a constant cycle. Demolition, foundation, weaponization, isolation, implementation, compounding, editing, invisibility, fear and respect, architecture. You move through these phases over and over, each time at a higher level, each time refining, each time removing what is weak and installing what is strong. You are not trying to arrive. You are trying to evolve. And evolution is ruthless. It does not preserve what is comfortable. It preserves what is effective. You must be willing to kill every version of yourself that is no longer useful. Not with shame, with gratitude. That version got you here, but it cannot take you further. So you thank it, and you let it die, and you step into the next version. Colder, sharper, more precise. Comment below which phase you are in right now. And be honest, because wherever you are is exactly where you need to start. You do not need to be further along. You just need to be moving. The world does not need another dreamer. It does not need another person with potential. It needs builders, strategists, people who understand that life is not given. It is taken, not through force, through superior positioning, through better systems, through relentless refinement, through the willingness to become someone new every time the old version reaches its limit. Machiavelli rebuilt himself multiple times. Diplomat, exile, writer, strategist. Each time the world changed, he changed with it. He did not cling to who he was. He became who he needed to be. And that is the final lesson. You are not discovering yourself. You are constructing yourself. And construction is intentional. It is strategic. It is ruthless. So stop asking who you are. Start deciding who you will be. Stop waiting for permission. Start taking position. Stop hoping for change. Start engineering it. You have the blueprint now. Demolition, foundation, weaponization, isolation, implementation, compounding, editing, invisibility, fear and respect, architecture. The question is whether you will use it, or whether you will close this and return to the life you have been trying to escape. The life where you react instead of create, where you hope instead of execute, where you wish instead of build. That life is still available to you. It is easy. It is familiar. It is safe. But it is not powerful. And you did not come here for safety. You came here because something in you knows you are capable of more. That knowing is not inspiration. It is instinct. It is the part of you that has been buried under years of conditioning and compromise and fear. The part that remembers what it feels like to be dangerous. Not violent. Dangerous. Competent. Undeniable. Inevitable. That part of you is ready to rebuild. The only question is whether you will let it, or whether you will silence it one more time and tell it to wait, to be reasonable, to stay small. You have been telling it that your entire life, and it has been killing you slowly. Not your body, your spirit, the part of you that was built for more than this. Machiavelli once said, "Men rise from one ambition to another. First, they seek to secure themselves against attack, and then they attack others." You have been defending long enough. It is time to attack. Not people, mediocrity, limitation, the version of yourself that has been settling, the beliefs that have been caging you, the fears that have been controlling you. Rebuild yourself like a ruthless strategist. Not because the world deserves it, because you do. You deserve to see what you are capable of when you stop apologizing and start architecting. When you stop performing and start positioning. When you stop hoping and start building. The gates are open. The blueprint is in your hands. And no one is coming to do this for you. So do it. Starting now. Demolish what is weak. Build what is strong. And become the force you were always meant to be.